Coming up on 5 Minute News. New data shows COVID-19 vaccines in pregnancy are safe. As 27 migrants die at sea, France calls for European aid. And Ethiopia tells US to stop spreading false information on war. It's Friday, November 26. I'm Anthony Davis. COVID-19 vaccination is safe for pregnant women and not associated with higher rates of complications, data released by the UK Health Security Agency showed on Thursday, as officials urged pregnant women to take up the offer of shots. The real-world data from the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines in Britain support other studies around the world that the vaccines are safe to give at any stage of pregnancy, the UK HSA said. It found that there were not substantial differences in rates of stillbirths, rates of birth with babies with low birth weight, and the proportion of premature births between vaccinated women and unvaccinated women. Officials said the data was especially reassuring, given that the first pregnant women to be offered the vaccine were those with underlying health conditions, who would be expected to be at higher risk of complications. Every pregnant woman who has not yet been vaccinated should feel confident to go get the jab, and this will help to prevent the serious consequences of catching COVID-19 in pregnancy, said Dr. Mary Ramsey, head of immunisation at UK HSA. The Health Ministry said that catching COVID-19 came with much bigger risks than having the vaccine, adding that only 22% of women who gave birth in August were vaccinated. French President Emmanuel Macron appealed on Thursday to neighbouring European countries to do more to stop illegal migration into France after at least 27 people died trying to cross the English Channel. Macron said that when migrants arrive on French shores with hopes of heading to Britain, it is already too late. Speaking a day after the deadliest migration tragedy to date on the dangerous sea lane that separates France and Britain, Macron said France is deploying army drones as part of stepped-up efforts to patrol its northern coastline and help rescue migrants at sea. But he also said that a greater collective effort is needed, referring to France as a transit country for Britain-bound migrants. We need to strengthen cooperation with Belgium, the Netherlands, Germany, but also the British and European Commission, he said on a visit to Croatia. We need stronger European cooperation. Migration is an explosive issue in Europe, where leaders often accuse one another of not doing enough to either prevent migrants from entering their countries or from continuing on to other nations. The French and British traded barbs on the issue following the latest sinking, even as they pledged more cooperation. Ministers will meet on Sunday to discuss increasing efforts to crack down on migrant smuggling networks, Macron's government announced. Macron described the dead in Wednesday's sinking as victims of the worst system, that of smugglers and human traffickers. France has never had so many officers mobilized against illegal migration, and its commitment is total, he said. But he also made clear that it wants more help. Ever-increasing numbers of people fleeing conflict or poverty in Afghanistan, Sudan, Iraq, Eritrea or elsewhere are risking the perilous journey in small, unseaworthy craft from France, hoping to win asylum or find better opportunities in Britain. The crossings have tripled this year compared to 2020. French authorities said Wednesday's was the deadliest migration tragedy in the Channel since 7 migrants died in October 2020. Shipwrecks on that scale, however, are not uncommon in the Mediterranean Sea, where just this year, about 1,600 people have died or gone missing. Ethiopia's government has asked the United States to stop spreading what they claim are falsehoods against the country, the State Minister of Communication said on Thursday, after the US State Department issued an alert about potential terrorist attacks. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government and rebellious forces from the Tigray region in the north have been fighting for more than a year in a conflict that has killed thousands and displaced millions in Africa's second most populous nation. This week, the Irish government said Ethiopia had expelled 4 of 6 Irish diplomats because of Ireland's stance on the conflict. Ethiopian government spokespeople have also warned against unnamed external threats and criticised Western governments for what they say is inaccurate coverage of the war. Kebede Desisa, the state minister, said the US government should refrain from disseminating shameful fake news and defamation regarding Ethiopia, state broadcaster EBC reported. He referred to a US embassy statement on Tuesday that urged its citizens to maintain a high level of vigilance due to the ongoing possibility of terrorist attacks in Ethiopia. Earlier this month, tens of thousands of Ethiopians rallied in the capital to denounce the United States for alleged interference in Ethiopia's internal affairs. A US embassy official said the safety of US citizens abroad is one of the State Department's highest priorities, adding that Washington continued to urge US citizens in Ethiopia to depart using commercially available flights. For months, the United Nations has said that more than 400,000 people are facing famine in Tigray. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.